It's awesome to have Kristy here today from Unethical
Yeah, so
Podcast
excited.
and the Upside Down Land. I'm so excited to have you too. I haven't been on the private dicks in a while. I can't remember the last time you were on. It was a bit ago.
It was most likely probably an Australian story that you did. Yeah, no, it was. I can't remember which one. It was an Australian story. I
Yeah,
remember you said to me, I'm doing an Australian one. I need one of my Aussies.
yeah, I can't remember. But
So,
yes, it's good to have you. Anyway, I can't remember because I'm I get
hmm.
we've done so many episodes
Oh my
between
God, I
both
know.
shows. It's unreal.
It's insane.
This one here, if we're just counting straight up episodes on Private Dicks, will be 120.
Holy shit.
And that's not that's all the bonuses and everything, but this is my 120th post, this one. So then on Unethical, there's at least that many.
Yeah, like double that.
I'm catching up. I'm almost caught up now but I just can't remember so people ask me I got texts about an episode I did I don't know, about a year ago, and I'm like, I don't fucking remember. Kind of. I'd have to go back
Yeah.
and check my notes, but yeah.
Yeah, let me go back and re-listen to see what I actually said.
Yeah.
You go back and listen to it and you're like, holy shit, that was a whole load of bullshit that I spouted.
I definitely do that. What's the first thing
Yeah.
you thought of, Richard? Say it. Don't think
Yeah,
this
well,
through. Say it.
in the 4 years we've been doing it. We've done so. I can't believe how many episodes we've done.
Yeah, so it's getting fuzzy in my memory, and that's what I'm about to say about this. Is I've been doing these Nights of the Round Table. I have fucking 6 episodes in now, including
Yeah,
the original episode, and I'm going back and looking at my notes to remember things I already said. So
yeah,
I know Kristy, when I did the King Arthur one, she loves the Arthurian stuff, and I've been meaning to have her on for a while. So yeah, we're
mm.
gonna do another Night of the Round Table here. I'm just doing this
Yay,
episode really to add an extra episode for everyone out there. So I want to switch weeks, and I don't want to skip a week, so I want to give an extra week. You know what I mean? So
nice.
it's a little
Yep.
extra episode. I don't know if people seem to like these episodes. I'm just gonna keep doing them
Mm.
until yeah, till I run out of nights, and there's hundreds.
I don't give a fuck if they don't like them. We're gonna do them anyway.
Yeah, that's the best part.
We don't do it for you people. We do it for ourselves.
So in my research, have you and you don't
I'm joking, by the way.
I know 100%. I yes.
Partially. Maybe 80-20.
There's joke in there, Richard. There's joke in there.
Yeah, yeah.
An elite team of private detectives.
What if balloons are aliens? Maybe that's the key component we're missing.
Cover-ups.
John's guilty.
Mysteries that need to be solved.
Maybe Mormons need mountains.
Richard, shut up.
Have you listened to the Knights of the Round Table stuff that we put out?
Yeah, of course I have.
Perfect. So you're going to remember a few things that I'm going to bring up here because okay, first of all, I got to make a correction. In the Sir Palamedes episode, I told you Palamedes died by the hand of Galahad.
Right.
It was actually Sir Gawain. It wasn't Galahad at all. It was Gawain. And it just makes a difference for this story. And
Those two are easy to mix up though, because Gawain and Galahad are kind of like on par with each other in the story.
as far as popularity, yeah, they'd be the
Yeah.
same amount of popular. Well, Galahad probably has them, but yeah, I know what you're saying. They're close in a lot of ways. But that's just because I probably stayed up way too late and wrote the wrong name.
I think if you ask people if they knew any names of the Knights of the Round Table, obviously they'd say King Arthur, and then Galahad would be next, and then Gawain, I think.
I think Lancelot would be first. Lancelot would probably
Oh, of course. Oh my God, I can't believe I forgot him. I knew there was another really important one.
Yeah, it's Lancelot, then it would be Galahad probably, and then Gawain. Maybe Tristane would be the
Yeah.
third or fourth.
But I think people would be like, there's more.
Oh yeah, there's literally
The
100.
table was really small. There was 3 people around it. That's it.
Yeah, no, apparently if I remember, I can't even remember this exact number because I didn't think this was going to come up, but the round table held hundreds of knights, which would have made it gigantic. So yeah, I don't remember the
And it was in the fucking Dark Ages. How the fuck did they communicate?
Yeah.
Did they get up and have to walk around to talk to the person?
It was just a hollow table and they just passed notes. We went off on a tangent. I made a mistake. It was Gawain. Gawain kills Palamedes because he kills King Mark. We're going to talk more about Gawain and Galad in when I do their episode, so I'm not going to get too much into that. But I also just wanted to
Yeah.
correct myself because I fucked it up.
All
Also,
good.
since you've been watching or listening to the episodes, you notice I've just been adding to the story because this is my favorite thing is just making all this shit's made up. And somebody just
Yeah.
it became true over time. So if I just add something, I'll tell you
Yeah.
which one. It's a lie from the last episode. Do you remember the last episode? Do you remember what the lie was? Do you know what the lie was?
Who was it on? I can't. It's been a while since I listened.
Sigwarides. Can't say that one now. Sir Sigwarides.
No, the thing, no, like you said, the thing about these stories is that they have given us full right to add whatever shit into them we want. So technically, it's not really a lie.
Yeah, just exactly. But I do like to tell everyone the lie from the last episode for fun. So Sir Sigwarides, I told you this big long story about how he was the illegitimate son of Esclabar to an unnamed sex worker. Yeah, it's a lie.
Yeah.
He was never. But it's true. If somebody goes and listens to it, they'll never know until if they listen to the next episode, they figure it out.
And I totally believed it. So
that's
it's
awesome.
canon now. It's canon now.
I love to. I don't know why adding the fake story is so fun to me, but there will be another one in
Why
today's
not?
story. Yeah. So if
It's
you
the
can pick
same
out the
with-
lie,
Yeah,
if
we'll
you can
give
pick out the
you
lie, you tell
something.
me. No, but I'm talking to you. Like today, if you could pick out which
Oh,
story is
me.
a lie, you get one guess. So if you guess once, you get it wrong. I'm not telling you. But if you get it right, I'll tell
Okay.
you.
All right.
Yeah, I've just been doing the Saracen Knights. I kind of just I didn't know how to do these without burning through all the popular ones first. I picked one,
Yeah.
which is like Arthur's brother. It was the first episode. Then I picked another one who ended up being a knight who had 3 brothers. So I just did all the brothers. And then today I decided we're going to just do their dad because he wasn't really a knight of the round table, but he was an important story in Arthurian legends.
Cool.
It's a guy named King
it.
Esclabor, Jesus.
Not to be confused with Pablo Escobar. two very different timelines.
My autocorrect, his name's Esclabor, but my autocorrect changed it to King Escalator in my script right here. So thanks, autocorrect.
From now on, you shall be known as King Escalator.
You fucked me up,
Nice.
man. When I do a sexy knight, like Galahad or Gawain or Percival, even like someone like that, I'll get you on again. This one here is not that
Yeah.
guy. Esclabor,
Okay.
he was a king of a faraway land. Some people say it's Babylon, but I've also seen he was the king of Galilee, so either Iraq or Israel. He's a king from over in those areas.
Yeah.
They call him Esclabor the Unknown. That's what King Arthur gives him as a moniker. You'll see why he gets
Is that just because he hasn't met him, or because if he knows his name, he's pretty like he's known. Like
I'll get into it more later, but like in
cool.
the Saracen Knights stuff, I'll just kind of give it away. Who cares? The Saracen Knights are all basically Muslims, right? They're not actually like Christians. They don't start Christian, but each and every one of them convert to Christianity, and then they could beat their fucking foe. It's super hilarious that the Knights of the Round Table call themselves like super like progressive and like had everyone at the table, like black people, white people, fucking brown people, didn't matter, except if they weren't Christian, you made them change to Christianity. Like it's just a different kind of. I love that about these stories. But yeah, Esclabar was no different. He was also a Saracen or a Muslim or a pagan or whatever. But he basically just didn't. He hid it from everyone. So when King Arthur actually found out that he wasn't Christian, that's when he started calling him Esclabor the Unknown. I didn't know that about you. That was unknown.
Okay.
But yeah, it's,
that makes sense.
It's just because he was a pagan.
How dare he have a different religion?
Exactly. I think this shit's so funny. Just, I don't know.
We just watched The Last Kingdom. Have you seen that?
No.
It's about the Vikings come over to England and start invading.
Oh yes, I've never watched it, but I know what it is.
And it's, basically all about the Christians wanting to kill the Vikings because they're all pagans and they worship pagan gods, and the Vikings being and the thing is, the Vikings have so many valid points about Christianity, and the Christians don't like it. That's the problem. Like, the Christians are like, don't you dare point out the flaws in our religion. We're going to kill all of you in the name of our God, because we don't want you spreading all these lies. Because they're just like, what do you mean you worship a God that's dead and nailed to a cross. Like, what do you mean? How can he help you if he's dead? Like, the things that have been done in the name of Christianity is gross.
And that's like real life. You know what I mean? That's not even like what you're saying is what happened. These got like close to like
Yeah.
as close as they can. This is like someone from that time like trying to write a hero story. This is what I love the most about it. Like, and they're like, well, let's make him like a different religion. He's like clickety clacking on his quill, and he goes, yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. He's not a Christian, and then he's gonna get beat up by this knight. But then like soon as he changes to a Christian, it's like such propaganda for the time, right?
Yeah.
Like, so King Esclabor. Jesus fuck, I hate pronunciation so much. Why can't I just I read it in my head, it sounds perfect. As soon as I want to say it to me, my
Yep.
yap. God.
Just call him King. You can just call him King E. King
King.
E.
Yeah. I'm gonna fuck it up the whole episode because I can't help myself. So yeah, he's got three kids. We've done episodes on each of them. Well, he has more than three kids. The three kids we did episodes on are Palamedes, Saphir, and Sigwarides. But apparently he had
Right.
11 more unnamed sons, and he had a daughter named
Holy shit.
Florine, which is like,
Mm.
I feel like
Sounds like toothpaste.
that's what I was gonna say. It sounds like probably a medicine of some sort, but toothpaste is the closest, you're right.
Yeah.
Esclabor had a brother. His name was Aphasar the Unknown as well. And
Oh.
that's all I know about him. That's the only thing I can find on the internet about Aphasar. So that's kind of
Oh
fun.
wow.
It's just weird how they put it in there, but no one actually tells. He's got a brother named Aphasar, the known. Okay, what about him? That's it. Okay.
Yep, that's it. He existed.
Yeah. So he was the king of Babylon, maybe Galilee. Not long after his oldest son, Palamedes, is born, he's forced out of Babylon by a ruthless, unnamed tyrant who overthrow his kingdom or kingship. Kingship? I wrote kingship. Is kingship a word? Is that a real word?
I don't know. Overthrew his reign, his kingdom. I don't know.
That's fair.
Usurped him.
He usurped him. So he takes his kids and he flees to Rome to avoid being killed by this tyrant who took over. And he knew that like his buddy was ruling Rome at the time, so he could just ask for asylum there, be good to go. But when he gets to Rome, him and his 14 sons and daughter have no luck getting asylum because the city is being sacked by barbarians.
Oh.
Yeah, so Esclabar, he's good friends with the emperor. He scours the city with 15 kids in total. Like, this is why the story's crazy. Like, where are all the kids? Like, they're all running through a
Fucking
city
hell.
being fucking, like, sacked by barbarians, I guess so. So, he's just looking for
Wow.
the emperor so he could, like, maybe even help or just, like, is there a place we could hide for now?
Mm.
What's going on even, you know? Because you get there and you see barbarians attacking. Like, yes, barbarians are attacking, but, like, why? So, he eventually finds the king or the emperor with his 15 kids in tow. And he's being held captive by a group of barbarians. Without any thought, Esclabor charges the barbarians, killing as many as a dozen, and the rest of them scatter. So I don't know if the kids helped. I don't know if they were all like, let's do this, Dad. I'm 7.
Fucking hell. Kids biting barbarians' ankles and
They all
sick
scatter.
'em.
And the emperor's super happy to be saved, right? Emperor is freed and happy and safe finally. So he offers Esclabor a prize for helping. The prize couldn't
Mhm.
be asylum because he just lost the city, but the emperor gives him 3 chests full of gold and tells
Mm.
Esclabor that here's a ship. You should sail west towards the Isle of Britain. It's a good way for you to save. I'm going to Constantinople. I got a buddy there. Don't come with me though. Go somewhere else. That's why didn't you just take him with you to Constantinople? You have friends there. You're just like, here's the 3
Yeah.
chests of gold. Leave. Like, okay.
But yeah.
So he gets on
He's
his
like, you can't come with me. You'll embarrass me with all of your children. I don't want my friends to know that we're friends. So here's some money and fuck off.
I was thinking it was vaguely racist because he's definitely a brown dude. He's probably like, yeah, no, not in Constantinople. Not there. Anywhere but there, you know? The Turks will fuck
Yeah.
you up. They get on the ship. They take their 3 chests, 15 kids, head off to
Mhm.
Britain. In Britain, Escobar's just like regular guy. He's not royalty. He's not highborn. He's nothing. Just a random single dad of 15 kids.
Holy shit. I was gonna say, does he have any of the mothers of these kids, or is he literally just gallivanting around with 15 children by
Kristy.
himself.
Kristy, women only exist as prizes in Arthurian literature. They don't do anything else except for give a knight something to do, which is save their life.
Yes.
Come
Yeah.
on. If she's there, she's not mentioned once. The kids are
No, of
mentioned.
course.
Kids are mentioned once, and then they tell this big long story about how he gets to Britain. Well, the kids had to have been with him, so like I have to add that to the whole thing. Their kids are with him. It's got he's
Yeah.
a single dad. Mom's not around. Maybe she is around, but they never mention her once.
No, of
Which
course not.
that seems like a hard go if you're going to a new country, 15 kids, brown dude, probably in a white country where they not even Christian. Ugh, you're a Saracen. That's
Yeah.
disgusting. But thankfully for him, he had 3 chests of gold. That usually cures a lot of problems, a lot of money. So he gets himself established pretty good, positions himself as a trader, buys an estate from a struggling king of a small kingdom, and 3 trading boats. These boats would go between Ireland and Wales, and he secured a little future fortune for himself and his kids. With a bunch of money rolling in, Esclabor decides to upgrade his little estate with walls, guard towers, double moat. I was like, what's a double moat? That sounds scary.
Ooh.
So that must imply a double drawbridge.
Like, does that mean he's got like one near the castle and then one in front of that one?
Yeah, he's got a moat protecting his moat.
So you're just like, yes, we've passed the moat. And then you're like, ah, fuck, there's another one.
Yeah, because that would be if we're talking siege tactics and you were like on foot trying to get, like you said, they get to the middle one, they're like, we're finally through. And they're like, nope, you're in the kill zone. This is where fucking archers are just going to smoke you, buddy. So it's the double moat's actually like kind of genius. Way to bring your culture over, your war culture over, because I don't think that was done before him.
No, I've never heard of double moat.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Within a few years, Esclabor, always the ruler, convinces a couple dozen families that live around to come in his walls, and you guys can farm in there on my land, and I provide protection from you with my double moat, my guard towers, and my
15 kids.
15 kids, yeah, my 15 vicious barbarian killing kids. So he wasn't a lord because he was just like some guy, but he was a lord. You know what I mean? Like you start getting people like you're the lord of that land, right? And as his kids start getting older, he starts to teach them knightly things like fighting and tactics. This is where the story veers off in a few different directions by what I could just find on the internet. Like I'm not going to fucking full-blown Arthurian college here to figure this out, so I don't know which way it went here. So the guy who lived next to his quote unquote kingdom or little lordship area was a guy named King Pellinor. And we talked about him in Palamedes briefly. And I'm sure we'll talk more about Pellinor and it's his own episode at some point. But apparently in one story, Esclabor saves Pellinor's life. Doesn't say how. He just says he saved his life. Like, I don't know if he tried to cross the second moat. And he was like, hold fire! And he just like saved his life by not letting him get killed in the middle moat island. Would that be a moat island? The little middle ring?
Yeah, it'd have to be.
Yeah, it's a moat island. Interesting. So yeah, I don't know how he saved his life.
How they didn't have the machines in those days to dig shit like that. Like they didn't have fucking bulldozers and stuff, and so it would have just been slaves to.
That's the word. Yeah, that's what.
I look. I am not pro-slave in any way. Don't. Like, yes, okay. I am.
I don't think you have to clarify that, Kristy.
I am what like people consider a well-to-do white woman.
Okay.
Living in a very, very good country. I would never ever have a slave. Okay, I'm just putting it out there, just in case people are like, Kristy said the word slaves.
Oh, okay.
That means that she's pro-slave.
I love how the fucking mob has terrified us from saying anything. You just said the word slave. You're like, I don't like slaves. Maybe bedroom slaves, but not like real slaves.
No.
No, none of us thought that, Kristy. None of us thought that. Jesus, I love it though.
No, unethical and private dicks do not promote slavery. Okay, just putting it out there, just in case people.
That's a perfect time for our new ad. We're sponsored by No Slaves for This Country on this episode, so I'm gonna think of an ad for that later, and I'm gonna cut that in. Okay,
sounds great. Anyway, yeah.
Esclabor saves his life. It doesn't say how. Whether he did or not doesn't really matter in the end because these guys continue a relationship either war. So Esclabor wasn't from Britain. He didn't know all the fighting styles of the land. He knew his little fighting styles. So he hires a master at arms that was from Britain to teach his kids how to fight with a lance and a sword.
Cool.
He asked Pellinor if he could send over a few knights to his estate to help his kids become knights as they get older. Pellinor says, sure, but I want you to realize that you're not a lord. Okay?
Ah.
If we're going to do any type of trade here, you got to become a lord. And I have a good trade for you. You need the knightly training for your kids, and I need your land. So I need you to swear fealty to me. And then we can maybe get your kids. We'll send you guys some knights over.
Hmm.
So what he has to do, he has to get his daughter Florine to marry one of his sons, and that'll work out fantastic. So
I was going to say there has to be an arranged marriage in this situation somewhere. And of course, the daughter has to suffer first.
it's the only reason Florine is even mentioned at all. Because after this, you don't see her again. It's only so Esclabor can swear fealty to Pellinor and get some knights to teach his kids how to be knights. The only reason, as some sort of plot device, women don't have any personality in Arthurian legend. Just saying it.
Yeah, they're trade. They're not
exactly.
They're commodities. They're traded and they're traded and they make sons. That's all they're good for.
And if you don't make a son, you better fucking watch out. That's how you get traded up. And then I don't even know. They'd probably just kill a chick like that. If you were like the queen to a kingdom and you couldn't provide would they divorce? They wouldn't divorce. They'd just kill her. Right?
No, they either killed them or send them to a nunnery. To live out the rest because that's what King Henry VIII did. He sent his first wife to a nunnery so he could marry Anne Boleyn.
Then he cut her fucking head off.
Then he cut her head off because he reckoned she was sleeping with her brother. And then I think he sent another wife to the nunnery as well. I can't remember which one, but yeah, that's what they did. If they didn't produce heirs, which were boys, they eventually were just like, you're no good for me now.
Yeah, and even like because that's real life. We're talking about real life again. This is some guy again. Like, I need to have a reason for this night. Okay, I'm gonna write in a woman. She's gonna be sold. Like, the mentality is so crazy. It's moving into their literature, which they had women. They had a mom. Like, they know their. Anyways, it's just weird.
Yeah. But that's why I love the Vikings as well, because their women were actually revered and the women were warriors and they had shield maidens and they were on the same level as men and they could rule as well. And they were looked up to just as much as the men and they weren't seen as anything different just because they had a vagina,
Yeah.
They could kill just as hard as the men.
Probably explains why a bunch of fucking kids could beat the shit out of them to save the Emperor of Rome. I'm just kidding.
Yep.
Because it was all women.
Yeah. Oh, fucking hell.
So yeah, Florine gets married. That's the last you hear of her, really, unless I'm missing something here and she comes up somewhere else. Because like there's so much of this, but right now I looked at more Florine, nothing.
The only time you would hear of her again is if she had a son who went on to do something really cool. Then it would say this cool man whose parents were, and it would be her name. But then you wouldn't hear of her again.
Yeah, I can't even think of I don't even know who the knight that married her is. Like because Pellinor had a bunch of kids, and like I don't even know which one married her. I really don't. So it's weird. Anyways, Pellinor sends over his men. They get married. They don't say who he sends over unless I missed that too, but I don't think I did. Pellinor ensures that to Esclabor that if your kids excel and prove themselves, they can become knights too. Now you're a lord. You're in this. So, and the kids prosper. At least Saphir, Palamedes, and Seguarides did because they end up being like three of the most well-revered knights around the table. And they weren't even like Christian at all. They're, you know what I mean? They weren't even they became Christian, but so yeah, he learned a lot. Florine off. So Esclabor is now lord under Pellinor. Not sure exactly how Pellinor ends up serving King Arthur, but he does. And I'm sure when I do Pellinor's episode, I'll figure that whole thing out. But he ends up being one of Arthur's servants. He ends up being Sir Pellinor. He ends up being a Knight of the Round Table as well. So now Esclabor serves King Arthur in a weird way like that. I'm not sure exactly when they meet, but they meet at some point because there's a story with them together. I think it's probably while Sir Palamedes is hunting the questing beast. I don't know if you remember the questing beast from the
Yep.
princess who lusted over her brother, turned into a beast, head of a snake, body of a leopard, hindquarters of a lion, feet of a hart. The
What
questing
the
beast.
fuck?
It's so weird. I sometimes think though, like, was there fucking like Pegasuses at some point? Like, probably not, but like pretty creative. Just
Yeah, I think I love thinking about those things and thinking that they were real. Like, how fucking amazing would that have been to like live in a time of dragons or a time of fucking flying horses? It's just insane.
yeah, like dragons to me don't seem way out of the realm of possibilities. So like, yes, it's cool to think that, but like a fucking horse with wings doesn't seem that far out of like the realm.
Nah,
Or
no.
like a chimera, like a lion-headed thing,
Chimeron,
chimera or whatever they're called.
Chimera, I think they're called.
Yeah. But like all
But
those kind of things don't sound super far off. Like, yes, like a fucking Tiamat or something that's supposed to be like a giant dinosaur with 8 fucking like that shit. Yeah, cool. I don't believe
yeah,
that.
yeah,
But like there could like little rat dogs, like I don't know what they all
yeah.
had for weird half creatures. They just tell us the ones that they had to slay, but they're not if they existed, there was like little cockroach donkeys or something that was
Cat dogs.
yeah, super harmless, but they're dead
Fucking
now.
hell. Yeah. No, I think dragons could absolutely have existed. Like, look at the dinosaurs. Like, if you can go from having like lizards to, alligators and crocodiles up to dinosaurs, there's no reason why there couldn't be another leap from a dinosaur to a fucking flying dinosaur.
You're not wrong. Like, yeah, not while humans were alive, though, is what I mean.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And like, ain't like prehistoric times, fuck yeah. Why couldn't there be all that
Yeah.
shit? I just don't. You feel
Oh,
like
because
something
there
that
was,
big, there would be bones or evidence at some point, right? That's the one thing
yeah,
that gets me.
yeah,
Like a little thing that was just eaten by the big thing. Like you don't
yeah.
necessarily need a cat dog's fucking bones to know cat dogs existed.
I want to see a cockroach donkey.
I was like, think of 2 animals, cockroach, donkey,
Yeah,
worst ones ever, Richard.
amazing.
Good job.
Fucking hell. I'm going to have nightmares tonight about a cockroach donkey chasing me. Oh, shit.
Yeah, Palamedes has ended up killing this fucking questing beast after he converted to Christianity. He had the strength to do it. I didn't know until this episode, though, but all the other 11 children of Esclabar were killed trying to hunt the questing beast. So he had 11 children
Ah,
die from this thing first. That's hilarious to me. Just don't mention that part.
he just kept sending them out. He's just like, well, that one didn't return. It's your job now. Here's your helmet.
Yeah, maybe I didn't think of it. Maybe just after that fight with the barbarians, all the kids thought they were super tough and they're like 7. He's like, oh, yeah, he's so tough. Go kill the questing beast. And then they leave. And he's like, I was kind of joking.
Yep.
7-year-old just gets eaten by a fucking lion thing.
Just doesn't come back. Okay.
It's super sad, though. Like, Esclabar lost all his kids to the fucking thing. Makes Palamedes more
Mm.
of a hero. I didn't know he was like avenging his brothers.
Avenge your sister, you asshole. She's the one that was put into a fucking arranged marriage with
She's
someone that was probably like 70 years older than her.
yeah. The biggest difference between Escobar and his kids was that he just didn't tell people that he was Saracen, which I
Yeah.
don't know how people didn't know if all of his kids were. Like, you know what I mean? Like, everyone knew, dude. You didn't have to. Anyways, Arthur finds out at some point, this is where he gets the epithet Esclabar the Unknown. At some time after this, Esclabar gets baptized by Arthur and becomes Christian. Every knight does. You have to if you want to be in their club, I guess. Didn't say when or why, just cuz, I guess, at some point.
Yep.
So Esclabar had an enemy that lived on the other side of him in Pelennor. He was called the Count of the Plank,
Oh.
and he was always just like encroaching on Esclabar's land, like trying to fight him. And like this is what his job was, to protect the people, right?
Mm-hmm.
We talked a little bit about Count of the Plank in the Saphir episode because he ends up like dueling with the Count and kills him right in front of Arthur, and Arthur fucking loved it. He's like, yeah, you killed that guy. Good job. It's another one of those things that this is like supposed to be so PG-13, but these guys just kill willy-nilly and like think they're fucking awesome for it.
Mm-hmm.
It's fucking gruesome. Living in those times would be gruesome.
Yep. Oh my God, so bad. So bad.
I showed Oscar Gladiator, because Gladiator
Oh
2 just
yeah.
came out. He was like, "There's so many people watching." I'm like, "Yeah, they didn't have TV. This is what their entertainment was. They love this shit."
Yep. Nothing better than watching the Christians get ripped apart by lions. They fucking loved it.
These are fucking Christians. See, that's the funny part is
Mhm.
like Christians got their revenge, changing all you Saracens into us. Uh, so Esclabor is also a character in the Quest for the Holy Grail, which
Oh, okay.
I'm not gonna get into at all because that's gonna be my pièce de la résistance for this entire thing. I'm gonna end all of this with Quest for the Holy Grail. So if Esclabar may come up a little bit more later, but at least we'll have a little basic understanding.
Can we do it in like can we do it the Monty Python version of Holy Grail?
I hope so. Hey, you know for a fact I'm putting clips of like
Oh,
something
please.
all over the place, like clip clop, clip clop.
We swat wick the wubba.
So I'm not going to talk about that. While in Arthur's court, Esclabor meets a maiden who he wants to make his wife. So he's got a wife later on.
She doesn't have a name, does she?
No name.
No.
And it's funny too because you're going to see in a second like she should probably have a name. They are having a party, I guess, after Sir Galahad kills a dragon.
Mhm.
Esclabor spoke with the maiden all night, and apparently they hit it off quite well. But like I said, Arthurian times, you can't just ask a girl to marry you, especially a lady in a court. You have to like fight for her. Like you gotta there's gotta be a
Of
fight behind
course.
this.
Of course. Yeah.
So Esclabor, in front of the entire party, challenges anyone who has interest in this maiden to a duel. Like if anybody, she's mine unless you guys want to fight for her. Let's do this.
Hmm.
Prove to me you deserve her more than I do. So two men from another kingdom step up. Both men were from King Mark's kingdom, named Sir Bethany and Sir Riley. King Arthur accepts the knight's challenge, and his squire set up a fighting ring inside the dining hall. Sir Bethany is the first to square off against Esclabor. At this point, Esclabor is probably like middle age, like 50 or 40s, like 30, I guess, is middle age. Like he's an older guy,
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
way past his prime. And
And she'd be like 15.
for sure, he probably was creeping the little girl out. She was trying to hang out with her friends. He's like, "Come over here, little
Yeah.
girl, feed me grapes."
Hmm. Hold this ham hock while I chew on it. Fucking gross. Oh.
Bethany was just a little like Sir Bethany. He was young and he was cocky. He was just a new knight coming up, right? So he says he'll fight the
Yeah.
old man one-handed, and he puts a shield arm behind his back.
Hmm.
Esclabor takes this threat right seriously because Esclabar is Esclabar. He's a serious guy. And with his first swing of the sword, he cuts Bethany's fighting hand right off. Bethany writhes in pain, and Arthur stops the fight. I'm sure he said stuff like, "Yeah, you will fight one-handed for the rest of your life." Like I'm sure he had a
Yep.
one-liner.
Now you've got to learn how to fight with your left hand.
Yeah.
Hold a sword in your left hand now, mate.
Good luck, Riley. And but to Arthur's credit, I thought Arthur would be like, "Finish him," like in Gladiator, just put the thumbs down because he loves watching people die.
Yeah.
I thought that was gonna happen, but he actually steps in and he says, "We're good." Then Sir Riley gets in the fighting area. It's not done. The guy fucking hand just got chopped off. There's like there's still another guy.
Nah, if I was Riley, I'd just be like, nah, you know what? You can have her. It's all
Exactly.
good.
Exactly. But he gets up, he pulls out his sword, and he's ready to challenge the unknown king. Esclabor knew Sir Riley from his past adventures with King Mark. Riley had actually fought off a griffin, and he also slew a giant. So he knew that Riley was a serious fighter, not a guy to
Mhm.
trifle with. Riley was less cocky than Bethany and steps in the fighting circle, weapon and shield drawn. Riley is said to have swung first at the aging king, which the king parries the blow easily. Esclabar doesn't strike. He squares off, waiting for Riley to strike again. Riley swings his sword again. He just dodges. Riley swing. Esclabar keeps going this way. Riley swinging. Esclabar dodging a bunch. Then the maiden, for some reason, no name, just yells to the men fighting. She says, "I'll not agree to anyone or someone who is too scared to fight in a battle. I'm not going to marry anyone like that.
Uh-huh.
Swing now or refuse your marriage proposal." So Escobar, you know what? That's 15-year-old Trim said she's going to marry me. Let's do this. Goes on the offensive, to which Riley dodges and knocks the aging king's sword out of his hand. But in true
Mm-mm.
dramatic Arthurian fashion, Just as you think Riley's going to cut the head off the old Saracen, Esclabor pulls a knife from his sleeve and stabs Riley in the throat. So I'm sure there's
Of
blood
course.
everywhere. I'm sure he's covered in blood. He had a guy on top of him about to kill him. That doesn't stop the entire party from erupting in cheers. Yeah! You just killed two guys, or one guy, maimed another. I love this. Best dinner party ever. And that's how the story ends. There's no like,
Yeah.
does he marry the maiden? Is she fucking horrified by gore and just decides to like unalive herself that night? I don't want to live in a world like this. And just, you don't hear anything. What does Mark think of this? King Mark's there visiting. His two of his knights are one of his young up and comers that has no hand. The other one's dead.
Yeah.
Blood on fucking probably the ham hock you were talking about. Nobody could eat it.
Yeah.
I just, too, like, I don't know. That's just the end. That's just one more thing to note from Esclabor's life.
Wow.
He does die from suicide or unaliving himself or whatever I'm allowed to say these days. Yeah. So he kills himself.
What?
Yeah.
That escalated so fast. Like, it's just like he's having the best time. He's about to marry an underage girl.
He marries this girl. She just a big gap.
And then he just.
There's nothing in between really that like happens.
What the fuck?
You just hear all these stories. It's a lot of these night things are like that. They just have a couple stories and it all interweaves with themselves. If you were to go back and read like the Prose Tristane or like the Lancelot book, I forgot the King. If you read all that shit together, all this would probably flow in one big long story. You wouldn't
All
just hear
blend
about
in.
one guy,
Yeah.
right? The guy would just pop in every once in a while. But when you do it like this, it kind of just gaps out every once in a while. And you'd forget, like Esclabar had that big fight in King Arthur's thing. Then like 200, 300 pages of shit where Escobar's not involved. And you just kind of forget Escobar even existed. You know what I mean? But here it's just like, you only hear him again one more time. And you only hear him briefly because he kills himself at the later part of his life. And he does this after he finds out that Gawain kills his obviously favorite son, Palamedes, because 11 other kids died by the questing beast, and you say you didn't decide to kill yourself. Palamedes dies. You're like, I'm dead. Fuck. So Palamedes, so Palamedes, apparently Gawain kills Palamedes because Palamedes kills King Mark, and Mark, of course, kills Tristane.
Yep.
That's why Palamedes kills him. So like it's a weird dramatic Arthurian domino effect where like Mark kills Tristane, which makes Palamedes kill Mark. Then Gawain kills Palamedes to avenge Mark, and the unknown king Escobar kills himself over grief of the death of his favorite son. All that stuff I'm sure fits together in something, but that's how he dies. He kills himself because Palamedes dies.
Wow.
And that's the end of Sir Esclabor. Or it's not Sir, he's a king. Lord, I guess by the end he's a lord. Did he marry that girl? I don't know. Did his kids grow up to take over his kingdom?
Yeah.
Not
did
really
he ever
sure.
like did he refill his children pen? Like he's lost 11 kids to this beast, and one of his daughters has just been shipped off to marry some old guy, and he's got one kid left. Like, did he have any other kids with this woman?
Saphir and Segwarides, both. One of them lives really late. I think he only has. I think it's Sigwarides who like lives to later. I think the other one dies when Arthur and Lancelot have their big fight over his girl there.
Yep.
I think Saphir dies that way. So I think it's just Sigwarides who like survives. I wonder if he gets the kingdom.
Oh wow.
Yeah. Who knows about the girl, the daughter? She could have 1 million kids.
Yeah. Oh, she could be doing fucking amazing.
Yeah. She's finally I got out of there. Maybe we judged too harshly.
That's what I'd like to hope. He was an old guy, but he was really, really nice, and he gave her all the money she wanted, and he only ever made her have sex when they wanted to try and make a child.
Yeah.
And that was it.
Yeah. That's probably what happened. Yeah. All guys are like that.
Good.
Most guys, especially back in those days, they were like very
100%. All about taking care of their women.
So that was fun. You get to learn about the king, the unknown king. I don't know.
Yeah.
Any questions? Maybe I can answer more things. There's not really much more out there about this guy. That's on the surface. You could dig to the bottom, and I'm sure you could find it. There's people that fucking teach this at Oxford as a fucking university.
I know, insane.
Yeah. So.
No, I'm sure in the coming stories he might pop up every now and then.
Yeah.
But it's just it's crazy that he's just done all this shit and traipsed across an entire country with a brood of children and killed barbarians and then set himself up in another country and then just fucking topped himself.
It's the British dream. I'd say American dream, but he moved to Britain. He lived the British dream, had a bunch of money,
Yeah.
and then just took
Yeah.
over a part of the land.
Yeah,
That's what British people do, right? They just go have a bunch of
Mhm.
money and take over chunks of land. He lived the
Exactly.
colonizer life before colonizer life was cool. He was a colonizer hipster.
He was a fucking trendsetter.
Yeah.
He started the trend.
Yeah, that's let's cross the
Maybe
Pacific Ocean just like our friend Esclabor did 200 years ago, friends.
maybe he tried to make a triple moat and it didn't work, and he got so depressed and upset that he just
He blamed it on Palamedes.
Jump.
Didn't want everyone to know that he just wanted a third moat and he couldn't do it. I'm killing myself. I've been trying this for weeks.
Yep. It's just not working.
I don't have enough slaves for this.
I would definitely come back for another one. I love
You should.
these bullshit stories.
It's just awesome that it's so like there's not a little bit of this. Like I literally have done probably 4 or 5 hours of this in total. And like I only hit one family. Like literally.
Yep.
That's fucking crazy to me. There's gonna be so much more of
Yeah.
these as the time goes. I'm gonna try and make them more bonus. There's gonna be a couple little changes with the show coming up soon. So it should be there should be more content slowly. Well, I put out enough, but I think there'll be extra content, a little bit extra coming out more often. But yeah, thanks.
Excellent.
If you guys like the episode, go rate us on whatever place you listen.
Go do all the things and join the Patreon because you get access to Unethical and Private Dicks.
For sure.
And
For
we're
sure.
on Facebook and Instagram and all of those things.
If you go to YouTube, the Private Dicks YouTube, and you comment on episodes, I will be there to talk with you. I've been trying to keep up with everyone that writes on the episodes, and I just noticed some really good ones lately that I missed from about a year ago, and I will respond, I promise. Just go to the Madeline McCann one, and there's a lot of people who definitely hate me. So that's my favorite one. Go to that. The controversial case, people are mad at me for joking about it. Why? Relax.
It's what we do. We just try and bring some joy into this very, very dark and sick and twisted fucking world.
Thank you for listening. Good night, everybody. See you next week, I think.
I just watched Private Dicks and I think RJ's the funniest.
What? Come on.